welcome back to my YouTube channel. Maybe here. So it's that time again. I have a lot of things that are going on in my life, and I think when I do talk about the things being very vague and very open, I want to reflect back to February. Happy New Month. We're in March now, and I don't know. I think this was really spontaneous of like how I wanted the new month to go, but to look at the future, you have to assess the past. So the past month had been like I felt like I was operating on autopilot. Like I don't really remember things. Like even without the pictures I have, I'll barely remember what a day was or what happened. And it just proved like and that's when like a lot of deadlines were happening, like schoolwork and other aspects of my life were like really important, and then suddenly like it gets more, I don't know, I think like recurring, you know. So even with the routines I had, so like let's say for instance I'm working on my final school project, right? I had to be on campus to work on it, and I found myself being on campus a little bit more than usual, even though I was like, oh, I'm going to go out and do new things and explore and all that. But I didn't have the chance to because of my other responsibilities. I just felt like it was kind of like holding me in place. And I also felt like it's not even time management per se, but I think it was just like the energy level I put in certain things of like priority that was like all over the place. Like what I felt was important in the moment wasn't as important to other people. The things that they'll bring to you as important priority tasks won't be important to you in the moment. There's some things that generally just skip your mind because there's no constant reminder of it, even though you have to remind yourself. So someone is bringing this thing to you. Let's say someone is bringing. Let me use an example of like they have their own idea for a like a research paper or whatever, and they need you and your own help with it, but then they don't let you know anything of what you're even being researched on, blah blah blah. And then day of or like 2 days before they'll be like, hey, remember this thing, you remember said yes, and then they now put all the full details. Mind you, you have a cousin's wedding to go to on that day, you know. You already made the commitments prior, so there was no constant like communication. And now that I've grown up, that whole communication is key. Oh my goodness, you have to tell people everything needed. And also like I think with me particularly, I try to give everyone as much grace in terms of communication as me. And like me, I'm not perfect. There's no way I say I'm perfect at all. But I think when I have a conversation with someone about whatever that's important, I'll try to be as stoic as it's very not controversial, contradicting, but very stoic, but also very open at the same time. So I think like the way I listen to people versus the way I talk, it differs. There's some people who talk more than me, so I listen more than I talk. There are other people that I talk more than listen. I'm literally in the center of it. It depends on if it's a one-on-one, it depends on if it's a group, it depends on which group it is. Like how we have conversations in class, and like there's some classes that you're like, yeah, for me. The other classes where no one says anything, we just want the time to pass, like knowing where things lie. Anyway, past February had been, I wanted to be very blunt and say February was trash, but it wasn't trash as in like anything bad happened. I think it was like how I navigated February was not how I'd like it to be. I want to portray it to be like, okay, I have everything in order, da, da, da. Even though no one has everything in order. That's really annoying thing. Is like how you have those expectations for yourself, but you don't give yourself that grace anyway. I wouldn't say I was hard on myself. Oh, far from that. Me, I know that being angry at myself um, for taking breaks, hanging out with people, staying by myself, da da da. Me, I think if you told me that like last year, February was, that was when I posted it's okay to be stressed, it's not okay to be stressed. That whole period, I really was going through. And funny enough, how many videos had I released since then? That consistency of wanting to do things on YouTube, da 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 da. Now it's not as if I'm able to do it, even though all I have to do is like click this button and say yes. That's all I have to do. But no, I haven't done it because somehow the easiest tasks feel hard. Is our brain telling us, "Oh, this is difficult. I don't want to." So let's look at something else that's easier. And whatever would seem easier in that case is not even something that's necessary. That's why they also order things in order of like I've forgotten what that whole priority, like the hierarchy, not hierarchy of needs, but that whole thing of like the things that are urgent now, the things that are not urgent, the things that are important, non-urgent. I've forgotten what that graph thing is. Wait, let me see. Mm, it's called the Eisenhower matrix. There we go. So just do a quick research on the Eisenhower matrix. So it's a four quadrant productivity tool to tell you basically what is urgent and important, what is non urgent and important, what is urgent and not important, and what is non urgent and non important. So you have to also navigate what you want to do, and also it's not only what you want to do, what you have to do. I feel like that whole thing of like responsibility and the things that you're called to do from the responsibility of all other people, and your what's the word, your reputation of being someone who's hardworking, caring, someone who's trustworthy about something. You have to do that through your actions. I feel like we half-ass a lot of things in life of like, oh yeah, I'll do this, and like empty promises are something that really occurs a lot when we feel it's that kind of thing of like saying yes to a hangout when you were happy versus when the hangout actually comes, you're just dreading it, you're tired, but you still have to go because you promised how many weeks in advance, you know? No. To look back on February, I just know like me personally, I don't know. I don't know what it was. I was definitely like in a freeze mindset of like I didn't know what to do, but I got things done. But like I said, my whole brain was on autopilot. Like everything just happened. I did a lot of things. I handled a lot of things. I think I was anxious about a lot of other things that were important and big, but my brain couldn't really tell the difference if it was anxiety of like, oh my gosh, this is so serious, or if it was just like, oh, this is something new, like my brain isn't used to it. It wasn't serious, don't even get me wrong. I feel like that's just your brain of already telling you. And I think like anxiety about something proves that you care. Being anxious about something means that you care. However, it's just how you go about it and how you live that anxiety. Well, let's say I'm anxious about a big presentation or a big performance, and then leading up to it, I'm like, how much do I prep for this thing? If I'm anxious about the performance itself, even though I've done my job in like practicing all these things and the performance is good, then yes. However, if I practice enough and then I perform and it's not good, that reinstates my anxiety because my fear was, oh, what if it's not as good? But it wasn't as good, not because of your anxiety towards it that messed you up, but because of the lack of practice you had beforehand. Do you grab? I feel like I didn't prep a lot. And sometimes I really find it difficult not to prep, but I find it like there's a lot of things that I'm managing, and a lot of it comes out of nowhere. So sometimes my brain will feel overwhelmed, and then I now won't do anything. And it's so frustrating because I want to do everything, but I can't. So that's basically how February looked like. And I've really like looked inwards. Right now I'm even in my friend's house for that like break and like that. But I've kind of like looked inwards. I've done my whole retreat and I've done the whole soul searching blah 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 of what I wanted March to look like. Just like a lot of New Year's resolutions, this is like the third month of the year. Hmm. This is the third month of the year. All the Happy New Year thing have passed, except if you're African. Um, so now people are now looking into like summer, like what's the rest of the year looks like, you know? And the decisions you make now influence the future, obviously. You have to make the conscious steps to do the right things now, educate yourself, do your exercise, eat healthy, reach out to people, leave oh my gosh, leave your house. That's what I'm going to do for March. And this is a goal I want to share with you. And just March entirely feels like a whole lot different. But for March, I want to leave, like, leave my house, continually go outside. And even if it's just like, oh, myself, like solo dates, even if it's like networking events, even if it's hanging out with friends, I just want to be outside, you know? Because there's just something about this world is like, you really wouldn't know what's out there unless you see it, you know? And I refuse to like live in a closed box, even though I love my house so much. Oh my gosh. I'm this kind of person I can spend like a week straight in my house. I genuinely can. Actually, no, I think I'll have to go out to do something. But like regardless, I can stay in my house the entire week. But I wouldn't want that to be the case, especially now. Oh my gosh. I think I'll make a separate video. But this one is just for March and like my own expectancy for March and what I want it to look like. Obviously, I can tell you all the things I'm like going through right now on until it's done and completed. Not necessarily like moving in silence per se. I don't sometimes I don't even like that term. But I think it's this kind of thing of like I want to put priority on it first and I'll let you know the aftermath instead of me making promises that I can't keep. That's when like a few videos ago when I was like, I'm going to post every week, oh, I shouldn't be making those kind of things because I didn't, you know? So I digress. I pray that your March will be full of love, joy. You're able to do new things. You're able to thrive. You're able to, and even the new things that you're doing, I honestly pray that they're for your benefits. You know, I pray that they're going to like make you grow in whatever aspect of it. I pray that you're blessed and then you'll be able to be diligent in whatever workforce you're going to be in, whatever responsibilities you have. As we enter the new month of March, obviously also praying for continued guidance as well. I feel like there's this thing of being left alone completely in your in adulthood. So as soon as you enter like your late teens, some people even have this thing like earlier on in like back in childhood where they're completely neglected and everything has been for themselves and being able to fend for yourself. But again, like as you reach your 20s and the 20s is just such a time and we really wouldn't want to waste it, you know? So, um and we're also like dealing with not dealing with but also we're in the season of fasting both for Ramadan and Lent, depends on your own thing. But honestly, I pray that this will be a time period that gets you closer to God and it will be able to bring you comfort as well. Always you have to lead with gratitude. Even though your life isn't where you want it to be now, it's still better than how it was before in some kind of way. So I feel like being grateful really goes a huge way because that's the world saying, okay, this person is happy that they've gone through these things. You know, let's give this person more. When you're ungrateful of like, this is what I deserve, this is what well, there are lots of things you deserve, but I feel like that there's levels, there's scales to it. When someone does something nice to you, you're like, as you should, you know, versus, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. The person that appreciates, you know, the person who is appreciated will be like, I like how that made me feel. Let me do something else for this person. So just even the way you navigate life as well, being open, smiling at people, doing this, doing that, talking to people. I feel like, anyway, I think that would just be a whole different thing that I'll unpack. But I did want to bring all that off my chest because now that March has started, I'm marching towards victory for real. And even with social media and how I'd want to post, that one will be decided when I actually have. Sometimes you don't even need a distinct plan. I think we should just have a general idea, and I haven't had a general idea just yet of how I'd want to like brand myself and all that on social media, and if I even want to continue having social media, all those discussions. But I just know in March I'll still be able to do things that are different, you know, and I want that to be a goal for myself. So after March ends, come back, say what the month looks like, look forward to April and the coming months after that. So yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing day moving forward. Um, Pray that the Lord will be with you in all your endeavors, and I hope March treats you well. Okay, bye.